Yo, yo, yo! Right, are you ready for this one? This one's gonna just blow. It's blown me out of the water when I first heard it. So, the conspiracy crazies are at it again. They're at it again with their, and I get told certain things from certain people's posts. But yeah, the conspiracy crazies are at it again. They are saying that, has anyone noticed in the protests that they're doing, which are proving nothing, by the way. The protests are solving zero, absolutely nothing. So my advice is just stop protesting because you're wasting your time. But what they're saying now is that the government, and this is what's laughable, the government are now using energy warfare. Energy warfare. That when these protests happen, what they're doing is they're actually the government are sending out frequencies to drain people, to make people a little bit, slumbered, a little bit upset and a little bit emotional. So that's what the government's doing now. You horrible government. It must be something in the clouds or the sun or the weather that they actually control as well. So yeah, the COVID crazies, the conspiracy crazies, they are losing the plot completely. They have, so the government's now using emotional warfare. Right, it could just be, this is why it's funny, it could just be that because you put in so much time and energy into searching this stuff, into researching this stuff, into the focus point of where you're at and the walking that you're doing around London town is actually draining you. The time, the travel, the emotional side of things, it can become quite draining. Now, as somebody who suffers with anxiety and depression, I know that the emotional side of things does drain you. So, for example, if I have an anxiety attack, it's not physical. It kind of is, There's a lot of the breathing side of things gets all hyped up. There's body tension. There's retching, and sometimes vomiting. And that actually drains me. Okay, so it's the even when that doesn't happen, just the whole anxiety thing, what's going on inside your head, builds up and builds up and builds up and also drains you as well. Now, this isn't the government. This isn't government sending out emotional warfare and negative frequencies to me, okay? This is just the way that your body works. So, and the reason that you're leaving these protests, you silly people, a little bit emotional, maybe a little bit tearful, is because it's been a huge event. So when I say huge event, I used to run a big karate club, and I used to do big events. And after every single event that I used to help out with or run, I would get a little bit emotional. I get tearful, because it was just the whole thing that, it's just all the emotions that you put into this because you want it to work well. So yeah, the government are not sending out emotional frequencies to make you feel sad. That's your choice to do that. All the emotions that you put into going to these events, if you like, is causing that, But to say, when I read it, I just thought, oh my God, what is this guy talking about? I forget the guy's name. I really don't care about the guy's name. But so yeah, that's what the conspiracy crazies are talking about now is, emotional warfare. And I just think it's crazy. It's totally nuts. The government don't control the weather. The government don't control the sun. It's not on a dimmer switch. They don't control the storms. They don't control the rain, and they do not control your emotions. There is only one person on this planet that is in control of their emotions, and that is yourself. All right? You are the reason that your emotions are where they are, not the government. Are you talking about the 5G? I don't know, Haley. I don't know what I'm talking about, really. I just saw this post on this guy's thing. And maybe it is the 5G, I don't know. But I really don't think that they're amping something up to control somebody's emotions. But this guy is saying that the government is now, using emotional warfare. And that's ludicrous. That is so far out there, You may as well, I'm talking to Minnie the other day, and I said, we're not seeing the Queen for a while. So Minnie's like, no, she's gone back to Reptilia. We mock all this sort of stuff because it's just ludicrous. Maybe, and this is what people are doing. They are too busy focused on something. And when you are focused, you do get emotional, you do get drained. Like every time I do a live video, I'm not done for a while, so here we go. Every time I do a live video, I get emotionally drained because I put so much energy into it, or I put so much thought into what I'm about to say next. I don't plan these really. I don't sort of, work off a script or anything for the most part. But this is just, again, my opinion. The new channel, The Bearded Opinion, like it, subscribe it. It's getting views, but it's not getting subscribers. So please like and subscribe the channel. This is where all this stuff's loaded. I've already got my first strike. For a first strike after opening the new channel. So we'll see how long it lasts. It's just annoying because there was a load of content in. There's loads of content and stuff that I put out there. No, we are not, I'll say this again, we are not being emotionally controlled by the government, okay? Anybody that's saying that is a lunatic. I'll have a look at the channel. No, don't have a look at it, Haley. Just subscribe to it. You don't have to watch any videos. You just have to subscribe, man. You just subscribe. It's called The Bearded Opinion, and it's basically just a beard with an exclamation mark in it. So yeah, emotional warfare. That sort of stuff is when you get captured and you get tortured and that's like the emotional side of things. But we've all been brainwashed. I mean, well, no, we haven't. Some people have been brainwashed, but let's be honest. They're choosing to believe this stuff. Anybody that we've all got choices, and the choice is basically what you decide to do, to how to act, how to be, what to say, how to say it. These are your choices. We all make choices every day. And their choices are to, look deep into things and to throw it out there that the government is sending out frequencies to control the emotional state of one's being. That's stupid, man. That's just ludicrous. It's way out there. What makes these protesters think they are so important? Because they're not. They are so important to the government that the government wants to do this to them. I mean, these people are just ego-driven. They're just, they're just ego-fueled people. Now, I've got nothing against protesting, but what I have got against is what it causes and the knock-on effect of the protesting. The protests in the last 18 months have done jack all. They've done nothing. We are out of lockdown now. The next thing to fight, if you're going to fight anything, would be COVID passports. That'll be the next agenda. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, I think. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So yeah, I honestly don't believe that you are that important, you protesters, to the government. They will send out frequencies. And then this guy's saying, once you got back from them, go to a tranquil place, do this. It's all on my Facebook page anyway. So if you, it's on my thread. So read what he's saying. The guy's nuts. But then there's people out there on his page that are saying, yeah, you're right, yeah, I believe you. No, no, no. Sorry, but you're becoming part of what you're around. And that's how we live. We become part of what we are around. If we are continually around these protesters that are all one agenda, they've all got tunnel vision, and they've just got this one agenda, which is to fight the government, which they have failed to do. They are failing to do. The serving purpose to the government, the serving purpose to councillors, the serving purpose to the police, and it has achieved zero. You've done nothing. You've achieved nothing. Okay? You've wasted time and energy. All right? Now, I always say pick your battles. The young warrior fights head on while the old warrior sits and waits. So what they're doing is they're not picking the battles properly. So now they're saying, rather than go to London every week, which has caused nothing, you know, you've achieved nothing. Rather than go to London every single week, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's do protests in our own towns. Well, all right, fair enough. Go for a walk around the town centre. You'll still achieve nothing because nobody's listening to you. Well, I am, because I just think I think they're crazy. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody really cares, because the thing is these protesters, their odds are against them. 43 million people plus vaccinated already, which means that there's only about 25 million people out there left that haven't been vaccinated. Okay, so I think it's something like 38 to 40 million people have had the second dose, but there's about 44, it's probably gone up now, 44 million or so that have been offered that have got the first dose. Okay, so that means that there's 40 odd million people. Sorry, out of those 40 odd million people, 30 odd million of them have had the second dose. The rest have yet to have the second dose. But again, the numbers have probably gone up. I don't know. I don't quite know what the actual figures are. So if it's, say, 44 million, for argument's sake, 44 million people out there have been vaxxed, okay? Which leaves 24 million, let's say 25 million people to be liberal, 25 million people that haven't been vaccinated and that may not get vaccinated for whatever reason, okay? That means that 44 million versus 25 million. See where the odds don't work in their favour? The odds, you know, so they're fighting for nothing. You know, nobody's listening because they're pushing their own agenda onto people. They go on about the government pushing its agenda, but yet they're the same. They're just the for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so the government's pushing an agenda from one side, they're pushing the agenda from the other side, and the poor buggers that are left in the middle saying, "What do I do? What do I do?" are the ones that are thinking for themselves. All right. So yeah, the government are not. They are not, and I do not believe they have the power. And if they did, they wouldn't use it on you lot to send out frequencies for you to become emotional. 5G or not, I've got no idea. Okay, I just thought 5G was better telephone signal. Whatever it might be, I don't know. But the thing is what's happened is there's too many coincidences, and they're working off coincidence. Just like COVID started, 5G towers started going up. Okay, but 5G's been around for a long time. It's been around for a while. I mean, we all work on 3 and 4G. The mobile phones work on 3 and 4G, wherever that means. So yeah, you know, if you've not got Wi-Fi, you've got 4G. So 5G to me would just say that we've got better mobile phone signals. Why? Because that's just basically how people are communicating these days. That's just basically how the way of the world is. You know, we need wireless. We can't live without wireless. We can't live without that sort of stuff. So that's what I think the 5G is. I don't think it's anything to do with controlling people's emotions or, you know, any sort of warfare or anything like that, or, you know, sending signals out to the brain and stuff. I don't believe that. I think that's just a little bit out there. You know, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, because let's be honest, you can change Wikipedia. You can change, apparently you can change Wikipedia. So, all this sort of stuff. I don't know where half of these people get the research from. It'd be interesting to know. It'd be really, really interesting to know where somebody has found this information on whatever subject it might be. What sources are they using? I don't think they're using any other source than the internet. Because what other source is there? So where they're getting their ideas from or not, I've got no idea. All right, Unc. I've got no idea where they're getting the sources from. Unless, they've got something strange out there in the little cults. I said cults, C-U-L-T-S. In the little cults that they've got some sort of, spacecraft or something that goes back and forward in time. I don't know where their sources come from. So these people they're basically speculating. All right, and that's what you've got to be careful of. You've got to be careful of these protesters and what they say on Facebook and what they say on social media, because they are speculating. Okay, I was told yesterday that that the government has put a tender in for like a bigger body storage. Okay. In case of an uprising in deaths, which is all right, fair enough. We've had a tender before, we've had a contract with somebody before. We're going to go for another contract. You're allowed to put contracts out to tender, and anybody can sort of I'll do it, and you got the cheapest one. But what the COVID guys are saying, what the crazies are saying, is that. And this isn't on the government website, by the way. The government is saying, yes, we have this contract. We are looking for a contract to have body storage increased, mass body storage, in case of, a lot of deaths. Which, fair enough. That's all well and good. It's a contract that's been out before. It's a contract that they're renewing. Fair enough. But what the government are not saying, and what the crazies are saying, is that the government is preparing this because of the government's expecting mass deaths because of COVID. Okay. Now the government haven't said this. It's not on the government website. However, the tender is on the government website. So the fact check is that no, we are not doing this because of COVID. We are not doing this because we're expecting excess deaths. But the conspiracy crazies, they've read this one snippet on the government website, and they've added to it. They've added their own interpretation, which you can't do. And this is possibly what people are researching. This is possibly where the research comes from. Somebody reads one thing, then the next person adds their own little bit to it. It becomes Chinese whispers. My advice is if it's out there for the government's promoted this stuff. We have this in black and white. We are telling you this. Don't add your own little bits in just to scare people, because that's what you're doing. You conspiracy crazies, that's what you are doing. You are the cause of the conspiracy. Okay? You are making your own stuff up. All right? There's many theories out there. There's many theories out there. But you're making your own stuff up by adding to something that's not there. All right? Something that's not needed. You've read this bit about the body storage, and then you've added, it's because of COVID. No. That may be the case, but don't promote that fact. Because all you're doing, you conspiracy nut, all you're doing is you are causing more scaremongering than anybody else. Because you're making this crap up. You're making it up in your own head. It's what you're choosing to believe. When it all comes to, if anything comes to fruition, then fair enough. You had a valid point. If nothing comes to fruition, you're gonna look totally cray, man. You're gonna look crazy. So my advice to you is don't put this stuff out there, because there's no need for it. You're just scaremongering people. All right, you've blamed, and you've promoted the fact that the government, the media, is scaremongering people and censoring people. Right, I get censored. Some of my videos get removed from YouTube, but that's fair enough. All right. But the one thing I will not do is share my thoughts, my thinking on social media. Well, I will share them, but I won't add my own little bits to them. I'll give you what I know. All right. I'll give you what I think a little bit, but I'm not gonna add little bits to it. You know, body storage because of COVID. Yes, no. That's simple. Government frequencies, no. Government emotional torture, no. Emotional warfare, no. You guys aren't that important. You've walked around London for the last 18 months. Once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, every week, I don't know. You've wasted your time. Boris isn't out of his window saying, oh yes, let's stop this now. You have achieved zero. You have wasted a lot. So don't go crying when you've wasted so much time. You've probably lost family because of it. Because you'd rather be walking around London saying, we fight for freedom. No. Please don't come at me and tell me you're fighting for my freedom, because you're not. I'm big enough and ugly enough to fight for my own freedom. Okay? I'm big enough and ugly enough to fight for my family's freedom. My family, okay? You know, the guys that are outside the BBC, they've been out there 77 plus days. Well, my question is, you know, you've been outside the BBC for 77 plus days. You said 77. Why is there a plus? Do you not know how many days you've been out there? Have you lost count? But like I said, you've been outside the BBC. Mr. BBC does not care that you're outside his thing, you know, his place of work. He's not bothered. So again, you just wasted time, and you've also made a mockery of homeless people. You guys have probably got houses that you can go home and sleep in. Homeless people don't have that. So you've chosen to go out there and stay in a tent for 77 plus days. You're an idiot. But now, because it's not working, I said it wouldn't, because it's not working, you know, you're now going to go stand on beaches, fighting for the children. Please don't fight for my kid, because I'm big enough and ugly enough to do that. I've not asked you to do this. You're becoming social justice warriors. That's what you're becoming. You're becoming SJWs. Nobody's asking you to do this. Please don't ever say that you are doing it for me. Don't ever come at me and say, well, we're doing it for your freedom. No, you're not. You're doing it because you've got an agenda. You're saying this stuff on social media because you've got an agenda. You're going out there staying in Tent City because you've got an agenda. You're going out there, you're taking Tent City to the beaches now because you've got an agenda. You're not fighting for my child. I am big enough to fight for my own child. You're not fighting for my freedom. I am big enough to fight for my own freedom. So when you go out there and you say you're fighting for our freedom, no, you're not. You're fighting for your own agenda because you're a social justice warrior. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the beaches. You're going to travel up and down the country, going to the beaches, all right, staying on the beaches because it's busy this time of year, and you're going to scaremonger more people. For what reason? You're going to tell them that the BBC are doing this, and this? So you're going to push your agenda onto those people? Those people aren't there to hear that. Those people have decided, do you know what? Like I did on Monday. Do you know what? This morning, we're going to go for a walk around the seaside. We're going to maybe get some chips, some fish, have a beer, you know, play on some arcades, enjoy the sun, enjoy the beach, enjoy each other. And then some moron like you is going to walk up and say, save the children! Shut up, man. You're full of it. Social justice is all you are. That's all any protester is. That's it. Social justice warriors, because you're solving nothing. The government don't really care about you walking around London. They do not give a hoot. And they are not using emotional warfare, you idiots. Mr. BBC does not care that you spent 77 days outside, 77 plus days outside of his establishment saying save the children. And now you're going to go out to the public where people are having family time, social time, nice time, and you're going to do what? You probably get moved on. You might think that beaches are public. They are not. They are private. They are council run. The council will move you on, and so they should. So, you peeps that are out there, just be careful what you're reading. Be careful what you're watching. I urge you to just be careful. Be careful on who you're listening to, what you're reading, who you're watching, who you're actually associating with. Because like I say, you become part of what you're around. Like attracts like. Okay? It's the law of attraction. You will get what you focus on. And these people are only focused on one thing. Whether it be saving the children, condemning COVID, or whatever it might be, condemning the government, you will get what you focus on. And this is why you're emotionally drained. This is why you are crying into your pillow at night. This is why you have no energy. This is why you might, your bones and stuff might just be a little bit, because you're walking God knows how many miles. I mean, for me, I couldn't do it. I can't walk to the shop, which is 2 minutes away. I can't do that without getting out of breath. So protests really are not for me. I would not make a mockery of the homeless, because that's what you're doing by sleeping out in a tent. Sleeping out in tents. I bet you went home to get a shower though, didn't you? And if you didn't, so sleeping out in tents. You guys have got a choice. You've got to be careful the choices you make, because the decisions that follow are ultimately going to be your demise. So we've all got choices. Some people don't have choices. And your choice, Tent City in Manchester, your choice to do that is making a mockery of people that don't have a choice. Making a mockery of people that have to live on the street, that have to stay in tents. You guys probably went home to get your phones charged. You probably went home to watch a bit of TV. You probably went to work at some point. You probably went home to get a shower, maybe a change of clothes, because I don't believe for 1 second that any of you stayed out there for 77 plus days and not done any of that. So you've had to go home and do that sort of stuff. Lucky for you that you've got that choice. You made a mockery of the homeless. And I think that in itself needs addressing. But yeah, just be careful who you listen to. The saying goes, look at the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So look around you and look at the 5 people that you are closest to, that you spend most of your time with. Not so much people that are like family, you don't have to be family, but look at 5 people and ask yourselves this question: what have these 5 people got me listening to? What have these 5 people got me reading? How have these 5 people got me acting? And what have these 5 people got me saying? What have they got me thinking? What have they got me feeling? Look at the 5 people, and if one of those 5 people, or all 5 of them, have got something, have got you doing something that you think, what am I doing? I was part of a conspiracy group. Wake Up Hull, Revolution Hull UK. I was part of those groups, and I thought I needed that. At that time, I was a little bit weak. I was a little bit, didn't know what I wanted. And I thought I needed that group to make me feel part of something. What have they got me thinking? They got me thinking all sorts of crap. Until I decided, I don't need this group anymore. I don't need these groups anymore. I'm quite confident on my own. I can do things by myself. Jen, I don't know what the O is for. Feel free to leave a comment. Or you can inbox me, it's entirely up to you. I was part of these groups. I've been on a walk or two, okay? I used to stand in the park and meet. But there came a time when I just thought, what's the point? What are we doing? What are we doing here? You know, we're not fighting anybody. We're wasting our own time. We're wasting our own days. Yes, it's nice to be around like-minded people. But then when they start talking about crazy stuff like this guy is about the emotional warfare crap, that's when you've got to say to yourself, time to leave. You've all got your own agenda, stick with that. But these groups become a little bit narcissistic and ego-driven. People say that I'm narcissistic and ego-driven. That's why I don't promote lives. That's why I generally don't say, going live at this time. I just do it. And I don't sit there and wait for 20, 30, 40 people to come on before I start talking. I'm doing these lives for me, for my own sake. And if somebody gets something from it, wonderful. If somebody gets nothing from it, wonderful. If it gets uploaded to YouTube and gets removed, wonderful. It doesn't matter. But you've got to be careful what these people have got you thinking, watching, speaking, how they've got you speaking, what they've actually got you doing. Understand you are your own person. You don't have to go along with the grain. You don't have to go along with the flow of the conspiracy crap. Just because somebody's got 1,000 friends and 6 million views or whatever doesn't make them right. Just because somebody goes live doesn't make them right. I might not be right. Just because somebody has a view, an opinion, doesn't mean you have to say, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, frequencies. And oh yeah, I feel a bit drained as well. Well, maybe that's just because you're drained. Not because the government sent out a frequency saying, drain this person. It's not like that, man. Gotta watch, you gotta stand guard. Stand guard at the door of your mind. A guy that I knew years ago, I think I'm still friends with him on Facebook, his name's Stacey Koretzian. He said that line to me. He did it in a speech, stand guard at the door of your mind. And it has resonated with me ever since, for years and years and years, and we allow things to come in, but we've got to stand guard, man. We've got to think to ourselves, all right, I'll listen to that view. I'll laugh it off. I'll listen to that view. Okay, there might be something in that, but I'm not going to go all guns blazing at it. I'm not going to go all right, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So you've got to be careful. Stand guard at the door of your mind. And because you're the only one watching, Jenny, stand guard at the door of your mind. And on that note, I need a snack. So I will say, that's the bearded truth. No, it's not the bearded truth. That's the bearded opinion, is what it is. It's not the bearded truth whatsoever. It's the bearded opinion. Like the channel, get on the channel. It's basically my views. So like it, love it, subscribe to it, like the video, hate the video, leave a comment on the videos. Don't care. Hate speech will be removed, as in you will be blocked. Freedom of speech is welcomed. Freedom of expression and opinion is welcomed. So come at me with something intelligent, not name calling like you big, bald, fat, whatever, bearded, whatever. All right, come at me with something intelligent. Not school playground crap. So yeah, that's it. That's the bearded opinion. Stand guard at the door of your mind. Peace.